Hello, I am Amanda Wacker.
Hola, I am Lennice Castro.
สวัสดีค่ะ I'm Asama like Bua.
And we are the Triplicates. We are 3. I almost said 4.
Oh no.
It's episode 4.
What's the
It's episode 4
Cast
of season 2. And we are 3 first-gen women of color completing the second year of our PhD program at the University of California, San Diego!
Anyways, last episode, we shared some of our spooky stories related to science.
And this episode, we'll be sharing our tips and tricks for grad school application.
Woo.
Whee!
Okay, there's a lot of places we can start.
Yes.
I think we'll break it down. We'll talk about schools, personal statements, letter of rec, tests, paying for the whole thing.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. We can start with schools.
Okay.
How many? I think a lot of people ask, like, how many should they be applying to?
Yeah.
More than 2 from personal experience.
Is that your answer?
Yes. At least 2.
I think at least 2 is good.
Gives you options.
A common number I hear is if you have the means to or are able to find fee waivers, 10.
I can't imagine
an
writing 10
okay
applications. Wow. That's so
I
many.
applied to 10. I almost applied to 12.
I had initially planned to apply to 10, but
Oh,
then I got sad.
sad.
So I only applied
Same.
to 2.
it's okay. You save money.
Yeah, well, I didn't pay
Yeah.
for any of these
And
things.
time.
So
But we'll get to that.
We will get to that.
Yeah.
Let's-
Asama?
Okay, I don't remember, but I think somewhere between 5 to 8.
okay, yeah, I think that's a very
Sorry.
reasonable
I
number.
think 5 is a good number.
Yeah, I was gonna say like 4 or
Especially
5.
if you
Yeah.
have to pay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I think the thing that was limiting for me was because, or not limiting actually, because I was working in a biotech and I was already like on my own and paying my own taxes.
Yeah.
So they were like, nah, you should be able to afford this.
Oh,
Dang.
So I applied based on how much I
Yeah,
think
you
I
wanted
want to
to pay.
spend.
Yeah.
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 Just another thing preventing people from going to grad school. Anyways.
SMH.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess if we round all our numbers up, I would say 5, 6. Good number.
2,
Right in the middle.
What's half of 2?
I
You're
didn't-
our
I didn't
stats-
do the math.
you're our
stats
Okay,
person
2
here.
plus 5.
2. No. Well,
Plus 10.
I was doing 2 plus 10 divided by 2 is 6, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
then
6.
I feel like mine was
5
around like maybe 6 or 7. I
yeah,
don't know.
let's
Yeah.
do 6.
Let's
Let's
do
maybe do
6.
6. 6 sounds. It's 6 if you can afford it. 4 if you can't.
Yeah. So now
Mm.
you're applying to 6. Does the name of the school matter? Or does it not?
Mm.
As in like Ivy League or like
Yeah.
nah.
I think it. I want to say it doesn't matter. It does, unfortunately.
I feel like what do you mean?
First of all, your mic backwards.
What do you mean? No, it's yeah, it is. What do you mean?
I don't. Well, at least like I don't know. Like I look at least at Salk, but Salk is like another one of the like big name
Oh my
institutions.
God, what happened here?
Oh, that's my microwave. Don't worry about it. But it's like my PI came from Harvard, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, I was at Harvard. Oh yeah, I was at MIT. Oh yeah, this person was at Columbia. This person was at here."
Mm-hmm.
And then they like bond over that. Like
Yeah.
So I feel like it's like a networking thing. Like you can do good science anywhere, but like, and
Mm-hmm.
the thing is though, like if you're not happy there, is it worth it? No.
Yeah.
And that's
I
why we're
agree.
not.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't advocate for you to go somewhere just because of the name if you're not gonna enjoy
Yeah.
yourself while you're there.
Yeah, and I think
Right.
the name when you're applying to undergrads, it feels like the stark contrast between like the Ivy Leagues and then other schools,
Mhm.
etc. And I feel like that's not necessarily true to an extent for grad school.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
if I compare the research coming out of here compared to Harvard or like any of those big 5 schools that everyone
Yeah.
talks about, it's
Similar. Yeah.
similar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
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 It matters less, I want to say.
Yeah, I think it matters less because everyone, at least like I feel like at an R1 school, you probably got HHMI people. You probably got,
Yeah.
like, so
I
that
think
evens
that
it
was
out.
more important for me, like to go to a school that has the resources
Yeah.
and the expertise
Yeah.
and the community.
Yeah.
Because say if I go to whatever, like my dream school, since I was small, but then I go there, I don't like the environment. I can't make connections with
Yeah.
anyone. I don't have opportunities that I feel like I can really grow and like really take advantage of. Then what's the name? Like you're not really connecting with the people and with the school.
Yeah, in terms of science, when I was looking and where I was applying to, I wanted to make sure that the school had PIs doing research that I enjoyed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Like,
that's very important.
and you can find that at these big Ivy League name schools, but I could also find it at other schools. And sometimes it's more specialized and more like not more better. That's not correct grammatical stuff.
I won't be me that corrects you, girl.
Better at smaller schools that are still RO1s and still have those resources for you to do what you want to do.
And I think one thing is like also like the kind of experience you want to have. I would like to limit the stress that my life is under. I don't know. I have this like weird thing of like, oh, if I die in like a year, like would I be happy with like where I'm at? Because I think a lot of times people are like, oh, just like grind. And then when you're 35, like you'll be able to chill. But like, what if you don't make it at 35?
It's true.
So like,
Yeah.
why am I going to not enjoy my life currently? Right.
True.
Yeah.
And I think UCSD is like very chill. People here have a good time. The student, like the biggest draw was like when I interviewed, like the students seemed happy.
Yeah.
And that is not something people can say about every school.
Did you? Oh, go ahead,
And
Asama.
even if they weren't happy, it's not like, oh, I don't like any of my friends. It's like, look, here are well-known problems with being in academia or like being in
admin,
certain types of like research programs. But we as people like are together and we're working on something together to fix this, and like we recognize this, we hear you. Like you're not gonna like be fooled into thinking that this is the place, but it's not.
Yeah.
I really like that honesty aspect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys have any like hard rules about the schools you applied to? Because I know I did. Like when I was choosing schools.
Yeah, I did too. I wouldn't apply somewhere if they didn't have any Black faculty members.
Okay.
Like that was like the, because I was like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah.
It's like you have no excuse at that point. It was like 2000. I was applying 2019, I think.
Like for the whole school or for biology?
In biology, I was looking specifically in the biology program, but it's like, and that's why I'm like, Sonia Neal's the only reason I'm here, and it's true. Because like Princeton didn't have any,
We love
so I didn't
Sonia.
apply.
I know she listens.
Yeah, and like
She
Yale,
tells us.
like it was like, it's like, like what?
Yeah.
You got out here making people write diversity statements, but you ain't diverse. Like,
Yeah. That's
suspicious. You know what I mean?
Diversity statement.
Sus indeed. I feel like since I had a couple of years to like really think through this, I had like a lot of like things that I definitely want, or it's an automatic no. So definitely want to see like diverse faculty profiles, not just like, a white man, a white woman, but like different types of backgrounds. Like they maybe have trained like elsewhere that's not like all from Boston. And I also wanted to see students being engaged in like community service or outreach, and not just like the minority, or like you have to be like the odd one out or go out of your way to like do service, because I think that's so important to like my upbringing and who I want to continue to be. I also, strangely enough, want to either stay in Boston or come to UCSD.
Yeah. Okay, that was the thing too.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't really want to go anywhere, but I was like, because like I said, I was sad. But like I was like, if I'm gonna go anywhere, like I want to go to UCSD, and that was like, I don't like. It's like one of the top 10 research institutions. I'm like, I know I'm gonna enjoy myself there. It's gonna be sunny. I'm gonna be able to do good science. Like that's enough for me. Like let's do it. Full send.
Yeah, I guess I had a similar. Well, I already lived in California, so that was nice.
You already know it's the best.
I already know. But so I went to undergrad in LA, did an internship in Boston, and like something that they both have in common is that it's in cities where like things are open past 8:00. So when I was applying, I only applied to schools where I would be happy at in this area, city that I could see myself living in. I've always loved San Diego, so that's also another thing. So that was like a hard stop. Like I needed to be happy, like you said. And a lot of what contributed to that is like being in a city where this was pre-pandemic, right? So where I could like go out with my friends and have fun.
Yeah.
Christ. And another thing is that they needed to have at least 2 to 3 faculty I could see myself rotating with.
That's the important thing.
Yeah.
Is like have at least 3 people you would be like, I would be fine working with them. Like I want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone recently emailed me and they said like, hey, like I'm thinking of applying to your school. Like here are the 2 people that I want to work with. And I was like, okay, I'm going to give you a list of people so you can go look at and see if you would want to work with them.
Yeah.
Because you never know, like from year to year, maybe they're not taking students.
Yeah.
Maybe they're
And
thinking.
this person's going to open our door.
No, I guess you can't see inside.
Oh, okay.
It's fine.
Sorry.
Okay, maybe they can't take students or maybe they're changing directions.
Yeah.
So definitely have a good group of people that you can definitely see yourself working with.
And you know what's wonderful is that now on the biology website at UCSD, you can see if they're taking rotation students for the next 2 years.
Yes.
Wow.
Isn't that so cool?
It is
Lennice,
very
do you have
nice.
something to say about that?
I'm glad that they finally listened to us.
Yes. Thank you, Lennice.
And others that advocated for
Yeah.
it. Yeah. Not just I.
Yay.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay, so the application itself, one of the biggest things is the personal statement.
Oh, yes.
What should you be focusing on in your personal statement?
So I saw Ashley Jimenette answering this question on the Bump Slack.
Oh.
And she phrased it as your personal statement should sound like a superhero origin story.
Oh.
It should tell a story of who you are, why you're unique as a scientist, why you're unique as a person, what are your goals, what are you here to do. And I think that's so powerful. But I want to hear from you all, you both actually, because you've also been writing applications. Not for grad school, they're already here. Confirmed.
We've been writing a personal
But
statement.
I wanted to hear from you, like, do you think that's pretty accurate? Do you think it changes a little bit since you got here?
You can go first.
Okay. Yeah, so I do look back at my personal statements, and there's definitely a pattern of like the first thing is like establishing like who you are as a person. Like this is me, this is where I came from, like this is like what's motivating me. And then you build into like this is what got me into research, and then this is the research that I did, and like this is where I see myself going, and like going into this school will allow me to like take the next step towards the goal that I have. And like that's basically like even for fellowship apps, it's like a similar thing. This is me, this is who I am, this is the research I've done, this is like my next step, this is how me getting this fellowship will take me to my next step. And you basically, oh my god, are they dancing bachata right now?
Stop looking.
Sorry.
I'm crying. We love
Wait, this
love.
is so cute.
That's cute.
Okay, we go dance with them
Okay,
after.
Oh my god. Sorry.
I think
Is it bachata?
That is 1, 2, 3 tap.
Oh, yeah,
1,
it is.
2,
Okay.
3, tap.
Anyways.
I think they brought a speaker just for that.
That's very
that's
cute.
so romantic.
That is so we're just out here recording a podcast.
That's cute. Okay, anyways, continue
I'm so
on.
single. Anyways.
I'm not.
Anyways, it's
Anyways.
fine. Karina said she'll dance with me.
That's cute.
Oh,
I want to.
Okay.
I just don't want to dance with anyone else.
It's fine. You don't
I
have
get
to.
nervous.
Anyway, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine, it's
Regroup.
fine, it's fine.
Lennice, do
Okay,
you think,
anyways,
do you
so
think
yes,
your
I-
approach has changed a little bit, or
Wait, what is your approach? And then
Yeah,
I think, I think I agree with everything that Amanda said. You do
As
this
per
thing
usual.
where you kind of
our 2 brain cells.
well, you're like, hi, this is me. This is what's unique about me. And then this kind of led into doing research. These are my research experiences. This is what I did. This is what I got out of it. And how it's pushed me to now continue on to do research. And this is what I want to do.
But yeah, what you got out of it is a
Yeah,
is a
I
good
think that's
one.
an important one. Thank you,
Yeah.
Scientific
Scientific
Latino. Yeah.
Yes, that okay. Their NSF workocshop was so good.
Yeah, and they have a program for people applying to grad school.
They
You guys should
do.
totally check them out.
They do.
Their Twitter ad, I think, is at Cientifico Latino.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I can put it in the show notes.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah. I think
Um,
they're a great organization.
me too.
Yeah. Love it.
will they will they help publicize this episode?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know about all
I think
that.
we need to pre-warn them.
Nah,
but
it's fine.
We're
I'll
giving
let
them a
them-
shout out.
Yeah.
So,
Nah, this is free
check it
promo.
out,
This
check it
is
out,
for
check it
y'all.
out.
Thank you for helping me apply to NSF.
Yeah, and I do think they have workshops to apply into grad school. So I would,
They do, yeah.
and a mentorship program.
They do have a mentorship
Check them
program.
out. I wish I knew. That's something I wish I would have known of when applying.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
To like go to all the resources.
Yeah, or like get mentorship because I think they connect you to a grad student,
I
which
think
is
they
like
do, yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. I think I'm going to ask later about like what do you wish you did differently or
Yeah.
stuff like that. Yeah. But,
Yeah. So I think generally how you write personal statements and what you want it to communicate to whoever is reading it is generally the same in grad apps and now doing fellowships. I think I've just gotten better at doing
yeah,
that.
I think I've gotten a lot better. The more times you write it,
Yeah.
my shit fuego now. Sorry.
But that's to say that when you're applying to grad school, definitely get eyes on it. Have as many people as you can read it. And yeah, I'm shy. I don't like when people read my writing because I don't think it's like the best. I think I've gotten better, so that's nice. But I guess I'll talk about this later. But just make sure you give it to people, have them read it,
Yes.
correct your grammar mistakes, see if the flow works well, et cetera, et
Yes.
cetera.
Grammarly is your friend.
Yeah.
Do you have
So,
to
yeah.
pay for that?
I don't
Okay,
know.
so when I was a freshman, my life coach.
Life
yes, I had a
coach.
life coach.
Dang.
My life coach was had like some code because she was doing her master's at the school, and she gave me the code that they gave to the social work students. So now I have Grammarly for free for
Wow.
like ever. I just like hope they never.
Is this discriminating?
I don't know, but like I
Incriminating. Sorry.
Incriminating?
Wrong word.
No. I was like, is it discriminating? No. But I told people, I was like, oh, you can get Grammarly through FSU, and it was like, no, you couldn't. It was just the singular department had paid for their students to get
Wild.
it, and it was not available the next year. So thank you to my life coach, Emily. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Asama, I know you passed the mic to us to talk about it, but do you have any suggestions about the personal statement?
I would say the flow that you both listed were pretty spot on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would say that when I was writing mine, an extra challenge was trying to tie in like my academic interest in research with work-related research, especially when the outcomes don't necessarily look like, a publication, a poster presentation,
Yeah.
a talk at a conference.
Yeah.
Like maybe talk to your supervisor or the people in your company and ask like, okay, how do I measure what I learned as a scientist or my research? Maybe you hear that they were able to use this data to raise millions of dollars. Maybe you'll be able to say that this went into phase 1 clinical trial and things like that.
Yeah.
So even if you think like, oh, I didn't get a paper out of it, I don't know what to say, like you can look broadly into like how has this helped your group in general, or like you can even go specifics into like, oh, I learned to write this thing, I learned this program, I learned this skill set. So yeah, really highlight those things that you learn.
That's great.
So that's the personal statement. Should we also talk about the other statement? The one about statement of purpose, maybe? Or which one? The science one? You read a science one, right?
Did we write a science?
Did we?
Yeah, I
Or
think
maybe
we,
the person-
I think we had a research
diversity
one and also a
statement?
diversity one.
I literally don't remember writing a diversity statement. And everyone,
Interesting.
like, I literally don't recall.
Maybe it
if
was
Well, you just
optional.
wrote a broader impacts, which would be similar
Yeah, but like
things.
for UCSD, like I looked through my UCSD app folder. I just turned in one thing, so I'm like confused.
Amanda said, I am.
I am the
diversity.
diversity.
I mean, facts, but yeah.
Anyways,
Do you remember writing a diversity statement? I remember.
for
Me
here?
too.
Yeah.
What was the prompt?
I don't remember.
Okay.
That's asking too much.
Okay, sorry. Anyways,
Well, I think the prompt for diversity statement, maybe for other school, not for UCSD, was usually like, if there's anything you didn't include in your personal statement that has like significantly shaped you as a scientist, as a person, like tell us here.
Maybe
So
I just
that's
didn't write anything in
usually
that box.
Maybe.
So usually for diversity statement, I talk about like start from like my upbringing and like what was important to me, like going through school, and also like trying to figure out if I were to like pursue science. So usually I talk about like different influences or mentors and specific projects. And then also outside of lab, what's really important. So I mentioned earlier that I wanted to go to a PhD program where service and outreach and teaching is really like integrated already. It's not like something you have to go out of your way to like be the odd one out. So I really talk about that and give like specific examples of different things that I have done and things that I've learned and things I want to continue to do here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you
I think
remember what
mine.
you wrote about?
I think so. I think generally, I mean, I recycled it to write broader impacts and stuff, right? So, I think I talked about being Latina, first gen, low income, and like what I did at UCLA as an undergrad. So how I was a mentor, I mentored people in my lab, mentored people outside the lab. Went to conferences, did outreach, and I essentially summarized those and highlighted them and then said, okay, well, I want to do this at the school that I'm going to go to.
Yeah.
And I think I would be able to have an environment that would support me doing that. And this is why I want to go to this school, yada, yada, yada. But I would not be able to tell you in detail what I said.
Why do I not remember writing this at all?
It's okay. Maybe I'm confusing it with another.
No, I remember.
I think it's me.
I have a
'cause
UCS
But maybe it's optional. It's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't
So
think
you
it
don't-
is, though.
What did I write about?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
know.
It's
I don't
fine.
know.
We're
Wait,
here
but I
now.
have one
It
more
doesn't matter.
thought
Yes.
on that topic. Okay, so one thing that I noticed when I was in biotech was that I was like super eager to form like at first informal, but then later on like formal like volunteer group or like professional development seminars type things for like the early career researchers in my company. And it's because like when I first joined, it wasn't a thing already. And I literally felt like something was missing from my life, like a spark was missing. And even though I continued to volunteer at like a youth homeless shelter and do like my own thing outside of work, I felt like that's not the environment I want to be in for like in my PhD.
Yeah.
So I think having that time to figure this out was also really helpful for me.
Yeah. Now look at you.
Speaking
Speaking of hundreds of people at this moment.
literally, wow.
Amazing.
You too.
Okay, so generally I think those are the two main essays that you write for applying to grad school. However, there is something that you don't write, but you do need to make sure someone submits.
Yeah.
And that's the letter of rec. Do you guys have any suggestions as to who you should ask for letters of rec or how you ask for them?
You go first.
Okay. I was going to ask if you wanted to go first. But yeah. So what I did is, especially when I'm applying to this, also when I applied to the first round of NSF, I like sat down and I wrote a list of people who I thought knew me. And like, it was like mostly my, like the person I worked in the lab for the longest time. And then like two of my internship mentors. And what I did is I wrote specific things that I wanted them to touch on in their letter so that it didn't overlap. And I'm like, okay, I want this person to talk about me being a mentor. I want this person to talk about me overcoming like this knowledge. Like I didn't know what I was doing when I came in, but like the growth that I was able to show in 10 weeks. And then I want this person to talk about like how I was able to contribute to like these reviews and these, you know, like different aspects that like show that I'm good at a bunch of different things. Right. So, and then I emailed them and I asked them like, hey, like, would you be willing to write me a strong letter of recommendation? It's due on this day. If yes, let me know and I'll send you like some stuff to help you write your letter. And then I sent them like my CV. I sent them, if I had at the time, like my personal statement or my research stuff. And then I said, in your letter, can you just talk about, like, you can say whatever you want, but can you also make sure to include something about me mentoring or like whatever I had listed under their name of like, this is something that this person specifically can talk about.
Yeah.
And I was talking to my advisor now, and he was like, you can tell like when someone actually knows the person they're writing, and it's not just like from a template that like, oh, I worked with this person for this long. Like if they have like a little personal story like that, I think strengthens it. So I think that was really efficient in like how I asked these people to write these letters. And because I did that so long ago, and I keep asking these people to write me letters for the last like year and a half, it's like, it's already done. You know, it's like I know they already have a strong letter for me. So
I have 2 questions. How did you know to sort of like compartmentalize person per like topic? Because that's not something like I knew until like someone told me.
Yeah.
And also another thing is like, how did you know how to ask, can you write a strong letter for me? Rather than like, can you write something for me?
So what I did as an undergrad is I sat in on grad student workshops.
What?
Yeah. Like they honestly don't really care. At least at FSU, they didn't really care. I did email whoever was running the workshop, was like, hey, I'm an undergrad, but like I'm applying and I'm like in heavy in research. Like I really think I would benefit from this because like I'm applying to these things. And at the time they had a NSF workshp for grad students, but I was like, I'm applying. Can I just come sit in? And they let me. So like, don't be scared. Yeah, don't be scared. And especially, you could do that here too, especially if there's like, if it's other departments, like usually they don't really care. Like they want to share the knowledge. So like they don't really mind who is taking the knowledge. But yeah, I heard from I think probably the NSF workshop to do that I went to. Yeah.
That's cool. What about you, Lennice? Do you have any tips?
Did you ever say, I know that you talked about right now, like what you asked them to say, but did you say who you asked? Because I can talk about who would be a good person to ask. I guess it's so like not everyone has multiple research experiences, but if you do, it'd be nice to ask said PI that was the main PI for that research internship. So for example, I asked my PI at UCLA, and then I did an internship at MIT, and so I asked him to write me a letter. However, I think for grad school it's 3 letters of rec.
It's 3.
Yeah. Okay. So I didn't have a third PI, but I did have a program director who has seen me grow from my freshman year to my senior year. And so I asked her to write me a letter of rec. So I think if you have those type of people in your life that have seen you grow specifically in science, it'd be best to ask them. That can include your PI, but it can also include, like I said, program directors or mentors. It's usually best if they are PIs or admin level. If you don't have a third person to ask, I have heard people say that they'll ask professors that they were in classes for, that they went to their TA office or their office hours. It gets a little tricky there, right? Because sometimes they don't personally know you. But there are I had classes that were of smaller size, like 20 people, and I feel like those I did get to know my professors a little bit more, other than like surface level stuff about the curriculum. So that's who I
and I would add if you're in a club or volunteer, or if you're like in a leadership position in a club, asking your like I don't know, faculty advisor, that, because like especially when I was in my little dance club, like we had a lot of contact with her, so like she knew who was in charge, and we would be with her. So like that's also an option if you don't have like 3 research experiences, or if you volunteered somewhere for a long time, like whoever's in like overseeing your volunteering can talk about like your ability to work in a team, or your ability to, be a leader and manage getting something done during stressful times, and like that kind of thing. Like it all doesn't have to be like she's a good scientist. It can be like this person knows how to work in a team. This person knows how to, manage big projects. This person knows how to get something from start to finish. Like those are still things that are important, and like planning and like reaching
very
out,
much so.
Communicating.
You're basically your own project manager.
So like it doesn't have to all be science. But you do want someone that can speak to you.
To your science.
To you.
I think like those characteristics in a letter writer are very good, and like I completely agree. But as I've said before, I worked before coming here, so my most recent research experiences and the ones that I took the biggest risk, or like I showed the most maturity and like all these skills were in industry. So they were not PIs.
Yeah.
But they were scientists that I worked with directly. They knew what grad school was going to be like, what grad school is looking for, and what are the skills that they could see me like really filling in or like really growing in grad school and those capacity. But I do have, I guess, question. No, I'll add something else and then I'll ask a question. Okay, so I did see some folks running into like a little bit of a hiccup when they work for a company or a biotech and maybe they didn't work for someone who has a PhD and they think that okay, if I have a letter from my CEO, it will look better because they know more people, and then like they have this like H index about them or whatever. And I saw that in like certain cases, if you took the time to like have a meeting with them and say like, hey, this is what I'm about, this is what I'm trying to do, can you help me? And actually like maybe spend some time to get to know that person, that letter can really work. But most of the times those letters end up being like so generic, like no matter how fancy the name of the person was, like it didn't really help them. So I just wanted everyone to think about like, okay, like what I should prioritize when it comes to like, do I go with someone who knows me more or someone who has like the PhD and like all these connections? So I wanted to ask you all, like, have you heard of anyone saying you should choose the people, your mentors that have basically are like the fanciest, the biggest names?
Yeah. So for my internship that I did in Colorado, my most immediate mentor was a postdoc, and then I saw the PI like just for lab meeting, really.
Yeah.
And I think that's literally it. I don't know if I've ever had a
and some
one-on-one
labs
meeting,
are like that.
Yeah,
not,
it was a huge
not your
lab.
fault.
She was like HHMI, like she was busy.
Yeah.
And someone had told me like that the postdoc is obviously going to be able to write a more personal letter.
Yeah.
But like if you wanted the like name of the PI behind it, you could have them submit a joint letter. So I think I did that for my first round of NSF where they like, I sent like, I think she's the PI is the one that submitted it, but it was signed by both her and the postdoc.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's smart. What about you, Lennice? Have you run into this sort of like situation?
I think when I asked for letters, it's like all about asking for the strong letters. I did have my PIs. I asked them formally to write the letters. But I was also understood that they wouldn't be writing it alone per se, but they would also get they would hear out the grad student or postdoc I was working under and work off of that to write me a good letter. It just so happened that I had two great PIs that did that without me telling them to do so. So there's that.
Okay.
Yeah. That's great.
Great. And ask them early.
Yes.
More than a month, like 6 weeks at least.
A month.
Yeah.
The latest.
Yeah.
And reminders. If you know that your letter writer is not going to turn in your letter ahead of time, remind them, give them the month. The 6 weeks, the month, the week. The week of.
Yeah.
Like, some of them need to be reminded. They're busy people. They're important people. They're doing things. So at first I used to be kind of like, hi, it's 2 days before the deadline. Sorry to bother you again.
Oh, no.
But now I'm like, hi, it's 2 weeks before the deadline.
Yeah, I sent out
Please
a
submit it.
3-week reminder. Hello, you have not submitted my letter yet. Just wanted to remind you that this is a thing that you agreed to do. Thank you.
As per my last email.
As per my last email. Yes.
Hello.
And yeah, I think they're also, if these are, so this is for grad apps, but if you have to ask for letters later on, they're going to want updates. From your new experiences. So make sure, if you have it, send them your CV, your updated personal statement, your updated research proposal, just so that they know what's going on. Again, I liked my PI. He was a great person, and he always takes the time to read my email and like be like, oh, I see that this is new in your life. How's that going?
I love that. And I remember you said that he would give you like updates on like the lab news too.
Yeah.
It's so
Yes,
cute.
we're learning how to surf. And so he was like, he's a big surf
Oh.
person. Yeah. So he's like, oh, and he gave me advice and it was nice. Yeah.
Cute.
So that's that. And then what's the last few things you need to apply?
Tests.
Which is like
Just
yes
the-
and no.
The
question mark?
GRE. Did you take the GRE?
I took it so I needed to take it to retain my funding. Like they needed proof that I had taken the GRE so that I could get paid my senior year.
Wow.
Oh wow! You had to take it before your senior year?
No.
During your
Like right before my senior year, I guess.
wow.
Right? Because
Wow.
you need it before.
Yeah.
I think I took it like the last month that you could take it before turning in your
Mm.
apps. And it was just like to show, because it was a funded program by I think NSF or NIH. So it's like to show that someone is intending to apply,
Yeah.
and that's how they keep stuff. But
Yeah.
if I didn't need to do that, sorry. If I didn't need to take the GRE for my funding, I wouldn't have taken it.
Yeah.
But that's because bio programs don't require it,
Yeah.
or most don't anymore.
Okay, when I read this prompt, I thought that the question was asking like, if a program says GRE is optional, will you submit? Or
I
will
didn't.
you take it and submit your
No.
score?
I didn't. I took it and I didn't submit it.
I don't think I would.
Mm.
Yeah, I took mine too, and I didn't submit it. I my whole list of 10 schools, UCSD was the only one that required it. And then the morning of my
They
test,
required? What
at the
program
time,
did you
this
apply?
one,
No.
No.
they switched. Oh, maybe. Okay, here's the thing. It was for this one. They changed it the year we applied.
I didn't submit my GRE.
They changed it the year we applied. Like
Oh.
they know that before they required it, but the year we applied, they didn't require it
So
anymore.
you didn't submit it.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I found out the morning that I went to go take the test that the UCSD no longer was
Oh.
requiring the GRE. And it was like the chillest. I'm like, I'm going to go
and play
because
some
I'm
games.
already up.
Yeah.
It was like 6 a.m.
Of course.
And I was like, I just like was clicking things. And then I was like the first one to leave. And the guy that like, you have to like lock up all your stuff. The guy was like, give me back all my stuff. He's like, you seem so relaxed. I'm like, yeah, this doesn't matter. And then I left.
But yeah, when we say it doesn't matter, I think we're also speaking about bio programs specifically.
Yeah.
Most STEM ones don't require it, but I know
Yeah.
that a lot of other ones do. I think like physics
Yeah.
still requires it, et cetera, et cetera.
Probably.
Yeah, so my partner is just completed his PhD in math and is now a postdoc. But I remember when he was applying to grad school, he had to take the GRE for his math programs. And it's extra insulting because the math that's on the GRE is like algebra. And these people are getting their advanced degree in PhD in math.
Yeah.
Especially like there's so many types like computational things,
Yeah.
like pure math, like
Yeah.
whatever. Those are the only two things I can name.
Theoretical math?
But they have like no relations to what these people are going to do
Yeah.
whatsoever.
Yeah.
But I did hear like from an admissions person, like after the fact that he had already like chosen to go somewhere else, that they were like, we could not fight for you because your score was not at a certain threshold.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
So I will say, ask everyone you know about whether or not they care about the GRE
Yeah.
because like you never know, maybe until after the fact.
yeah.
Yeah. But
That's
I
kind of
mean,
wild.
he went to MIT, so I think he did pretty
yeah.
well.
He was fine. He's doing great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A whole doctor.
A whole doctor.
The whole doctor.
Dang.
But yeah, I don't particularly think standardized testing is a testament to the type of scientist you will be and you can grow to be.
It's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
I have a thought.
Yes.
So when I was working in biotech, right, when we interview people, we have them send in their CV, we call them, talk to them on the phone, have them give a talk, ask them, blah, 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 what can you do? And then we had a technical interview where we gave them like unsolved problems in our company with, you know, like confidential classes and all that. And we see their thought process. We see how they would approach this, what resources they need, can they budget, can they like run a program, can they manage people? And I think I would rather do that than the GRE for grad school.
Because that's applicable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like have some sort of problem solving things that I can show you.
Yeah.
So you actually know if I'm a good scientist or not.
Yeah.
Another thing about the GRE is that you have to pay for it.
Just
That's true.
and the fee waivers aren't even like free. It's like half off.
Yeah.
Clearance.
Yeah.
BOGO? Well, for y'all, it would have been BOGO.
Mine was thankfully paid for. But
Oh,
if there's programs at your institution that you're in, ask if they cover fee waivers for the GRE. Also, another reason why I took it to retain my funding because I didn't have to pay for it. Otherwise, I'd be like, "Excuse me, where's my money?
Give me my money, Steven. What's not clicking?
Oh, yeah. I thought it's Tony. Anyways,
I don't get it.
But yeah,
Cash at me right now.
Is this a TikTok
It's a
thing?
TikTok thing.
reference.
Of course it is.
but GRE is not the only thing that you need to pay for in this pipeline of apps. Applications to grad schools can also range from what I think like $75 to $150 maybe dollars
Yeah.
each.
Yeah.
It's pricey, bro.
It is
Okay.
pricey.
They're
Who
really trying to
gets
keep
this
us out.
money?
I don't know.
That's a great question because they're not paying
Imagine
the graduate
thousands-
students that are
thousands
reading
of
your
people apply.
applications.
Who pockets the money?
I don't know.
The school probably. It's
Tell
fine.
us.
It's whatever. Why don't we ask admissions committee?
Who?
Sorry.
Anywho's.
Okay. If you are low income or in a program or whatever,
And are straight from undergrad. Did you get fee waivers through the schools?
I got fee waivers through the Leadership Alliance, which was the internship I did for 2 years. So it was like any school that was like within their alliance, you could apply to
Yeah.
for free. Yeah.
Okay. But you can, like you were saying, if you're low income.
Yes, if you're low income, check the schools that you're applying to website because UCSD is outside of Leadership Alliance. So check their website and check it more than 2 days before it's due.
Oh yeah.
Because what I did is I freaked out because no one had I didn't hear back about it, and I was like, it was like at the deadline, so I just paid for it and then emailed them afterwards to be like, can I have a refund? And they did refund me, which I didn't expect, but like it was like $120, and I was like, I'm just gonna pay for this because like I'm only applying to 2 schools, like I'm not.
That's huge. $120 can
It's a
be
lot
like
of money.
a plane ticket.
That's like 2 rounds of groceries.
That is spent $140 today at TJ Maxx.
Oh my god.
On what? Let us see.
I can show you.
Sheesh. Anyway, yes,
for the
it's a lot of
invite.
money. I would also, if it's not listed on their application thing, email whoever's on staff for their admission to the program you're applying to specifically, because sometimes they can give you a fee waiver. It's just not like fully advertised.
Yeah, just ask.
But just ask. What the worst thing is they're gonna say no.
And you're paying for it anyways, so you don't lose.
Yeah. The worst thing is a no from an email.
Yeah. Another piece of advice is if you're a minority student and have the means to present at Abercams or can get a travel grant to present at Abercams, or they're doing it virtually now, do so, because everyone that presents at Abercams or like SACNAs, and there's a whole other list of places you can present at, automatically get fee waivers to most of these schools.
I
if
did
you
not
check
know
you went.
that.
Yeah.
We should do another episode that dives into that.
Yeah.
I think that's such a good resource.
Yeah. They also, so it's not just that. If you're part of MARC or like, it's called CAMP, which is UC specific or Cal State specific too. There's a bunch of programs that if you're in, you automatically get a fee waiver.
Yeah.
But we came straight from undergrad, so it might have been a little easier for us to find ways to get our stuff paid for.
Yeah.
Asama, what was your experience?
I'm trying to remember if my school was as good about having these sorts of programs for URM students,
Yeah, my school didn't have any.
especially like in science. And I would say no.
Yeah.
If anything, I remember seeing, you know how some schools have like internal nominations and you have to like submit all your stuff to a department and that office sends out stuff for you. So I think even for like NSF, that was the case for my undergrad school. And to me, I was just like, I don't know if I can do that. That seems so scary. So if you went to Northeastern, you know it has problems. But one of my least favorite is not a very diverse place. And when I hear about Amanda having a life coach, Lennice having another set of life coaches, I'm like, damn, I'm jealous. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm very grateful for the lab that I was in, for my mentors and for like all these internships that I was able to do to like build my skills as a scientist, and also like was able to work in biotech, like where all these great things were happening. But I would not have been able to come straight from undergrad because no one even like thought about saying like, hey, these are the things that you could be taking advantage of in order to go pursue your graduate degrees.
Yeah.
So I would say my path was probably meant to be this way. And I'm really glad that I went to biotech, actually. Like some of my really close mentors and friends are in there. So yeah. And maybe I'll see them on the other side. Who knows?
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. But yeah, if anyone listening goes to UCLA and wants kind of my detail of how I got to these programs, I'd be happy to talk about that.
But what if we did an in-depth interview with Lennice Castro?
Oh, yeah. And with Asama and with Amanda. Well, get to know us a little. Yeah, maybe. Okay, we'll touch on that in a future episode.
Wink.
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 All right.
Anywho's, is there anything we want to talk about before we wrap it up, ladies? Should we give a little hype to all those applying right now?
You can do it.
It's hard when you're so close to the situation to see how amazing of a superstar you are, but just know everyone looking in from outside knows that you are great and you are going to kill these apps. And you're going to
Matt reference.
What? Great. Oh yeah. And you're
that unintentional?
No.
It's just in her pronounce.
And you're gonna do amazing. You're going to get into grad school and do everything that you want.
And if you don't get into grad school, it's okay.
I agree.
Apply
It's
again.
okay.
Who cares?
Yeah.
It's fine.
It happens.
It does happen.
It's very common.
It is very common. People. I mean,
and you'll still be amazing superstar.
Yeah.
We love you.
But I think I really want to emphasize to like utilize every resource available to you. Email people you don't know.
Yeah.
Even if you're like, oh, maybe there's such a busy professor or grad student at this school that I've never been to. Please just send that email.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, that's something before I applied, I called people in labs that I wanted to
call
work in.
them.
Wow.
Well, I emailed them, and then they were like, "Oh, let's talk on the phone." And I remember talking to this girl in Colorado at one of the schools I was going to apply for like an hour.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I didn't apply, but like
that was useful then.
Well, it was in my list of 10 schools, but like I was gonna, but it didn't happen. But it's fine. But like you know, like people are willing to talk, and I think I would be willing to talk to people too if they're like, "Hey, I want to apply. Like, what's your experience?"
I see that as paying it forward because I got a lot of help.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be here without the constellation of mentors that I've had. So,
because they're stars.
Yes.
Cute.
Anyway,
okay, maybe it's time for a break or something?
Yeah.
So,
let's take a quick break and hear from our sponsors before we close out the show.
Sated Factory is a Black-owned skincare brand that prides itself in providing natural, homemade products.
If you're a skincare buff and love to have the taste of luxury at home on a university budget, these products suit those needs.
They have 3 scented exfoliating scrubs that are catered to help different skin concerns.
As you head into another school year, having a scrub that not only nourishes your body but helps you relax after a long day is a must.
And you can use code TriplicatesPod10, all caps, for 10% off your order.
And that's at satedfactory.com.
Welcome back, everyone. Before we say goodbye, what is one thing you would do differently when applying to grad school?
Apply to more than 2 schools.
Why? You don't want to be here? Sorry.
No, I love it here. I love it here, and I don't think. Yes,
it's all about me.
It's all about Lennice.
Or I guess Paolo.
I never would have met Lennice Castro, and that would have ruined my life. That's fine.
Notice how I'm like not petty about that.
It's fine. Yeah, it's just because like I don't know. I didn't get into the other school I applied to, so like I was very stressed about getting into this other school because I was like, this is my only option now. And I had at the time an internship that I thought, from my understanding, a requirement was that you were going to be a grad student in the fall. And I was like, dang, if I lose this internship because I didn't get in because I only applied to 2 schools, I'm gonna feel dumb.
But I think it's like that was during the pandemic, right? So it was like a lot.
I mean, pandemic happened
Like right after you
after
accepted.
I already applied. Yeah, like after I got accepted, right? Like
Yeah.
yeah, and then I got when I did the summer internship, there was someone who was like, yeah, I'm applying to med school like next year. Like, so she wasn't even going to be in school another year. I'm like, wow, so y'all aren't serious about this, and I was sitting here stressed.
No.
Anyways,
So
That would
apply
be-
to more than one school.
apply to more than one school, and
More
maybe
than-
start your applications earlier.
Why are you laughing? Sorry.
I had a joke in my head.
I don't know.
Say
Later.
it. We'll
No.
cut it out.
It's fine.
Okay. Asama, do you have anything you would
What I
have
would
done
do
differently?
differently. I was giving this advice to someone before.
Mhm.
Start that spreadsheet
Yeah.
with all the school, all the costs, location,
Yes.
Mhm.
average apartment price,
Yes.
everything,
Mm.
including your login and password for the application portal.
Yes.
Yes.
Because I always forget. And I was like, no. I had to like reset all the application passwords like at least twice for all the schools.
Oh no!
You know when that's not a
Like when I get an invitation
Yeah.
from like for a talk, and then I'm like, not for a talk, for an interview. I'm
Yeah.
like, I forgot the password.
Wow.
Yeah, sorry, what were you saying?
Oh
I
my
said, you know
God.
what? It's not a problem when you only have 2 passwords to remember.
Stop. Because they were like, oh, you should be smart about this. You should change the password for every school. And I'm like, "Bet."
Why? I did it.
But then
Gold.
I forgot about, yeah. So start
Yeah.
your spreadsheets. Get organized.
Yes, get organized. That's
Do whatever you need to do
Big thing.
to get all your information in a place that you can refer back to because it'll help you.
great advice.
Yes.
Yo.
Okay. School app deadlines are usually like late November, early December. Get that shit in before Thanksgiving, bro.
Yeah.
You don't want to be stressed about it right before you're eating your turkey or whatever you eat at Thanksgiving.
Tofurkey.
Yes.
Pad Thai.
We
That's
love
what we
vegan.
eat.
McDonald's
Yeah.
at the
We don't have
Glider Port.
any like
We
Mexican
had McDonald's
food.
last year.
Yeah, we had last year Thanksgiving. Me and Asama went to McDonald's, the drive-through, picked up McDonald's, and then
went to the glider port.
went to the glider port and
Very
ate
cute.
it at the glider port. It was
and
lovely.
then met a surfer boy.
We
Oh.
did meet a surfer
Oh.
boy very briefly.
Ah.
It's fine.
Anyways,
Sorry, back to you.
but get it in. Also, it's stressful in the process, but don't stress. I know, bold coming from me.
Lennice?
I know, it'll be fine.
Everything's fine. Don't worry about it.
We call that growth.
Wow.
Cool.
Great.
Cool.
Okay.
Your turn.
Sorry. Hold on. All right. Let's round out the show. Let's run some
Statistics?
we gotta do some observations first. Run some stats.
Yes.
Asama, mama. Sorry.
What?
I
Yeah.
do. I come up with them.
I love these. Okay, so the question for this week is listen. How many PhD students in our study would rather fight the school mascot or protect the school mascot from 100 freshmen?
Okay. I know I wrote this. I don't have an answer. I feel like I would rather fight the mascot.
Same. Easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have no hands.
He's
I mean, it depends on
is
what
he
your
like
goal
Poseidon? King Triton
you
of
see
the
the
ocean?
sun god. The little
Is that our mascot?
cartoony
that's not our
sun
mascot.
god.
Our mascot's the
It's
King Triton.
it's Little Mermaid's dad.
yeah, King Triton.
Yeah. I would fight the mascot.
Sama.
Okay,
I would just trip them.
it depends on.
You got no legs.
Okay, so is your goal like either to hurt the mascot or to protect it?
Would you rather
Yeah.
fight the
well,
mascot
you have to fight someone
or
either
would you
way.
fight for the mascot? It's the essence of this question.
Okay, so as someone who's been a mascot before,
Oh no.
not here, but like somewhere else, you're in a very vulnerable position because you can't really see. You're sweaty. Like, it's like you're walking in quicksand. So it's much easier to fight them. You just have to like trip them. It's like super easy.
I know, but when I
put tape on their eyes. It's very easy.
you guys really took the like physical mascot. I meant like just like the idea of the mascot. Like
I can't
King
fight.
Triton himself.
I can't fight an idea.
Would you fight King Triton himself though?
Or 18-year-olds.
Yes. 118-year-old.
Yeah, I would just evaporate all the water, bro.
How are you gonna do that? Global warming?
I don't know. Cause an algal bloom.
No.
Okay, as someone who's teaching students this quarter, I will on the record say that I will not fight students.
Great.
So I will,
That's a
I
good
guess,
one.
fight the mythical creature
Yes.
instead,
Thank you.
just to be ethical.
To be ethical. This is not an ethics class. Sorry.
We are ethical on this podcast.
That's a callback to something one of our professors said, just for the listeners at home.
Anyways, 100% of the PhD students in our study would fight the mascot, not students.
Would fight King Triton himself.
Go, Asama. Go.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So if there's anything you would like to hear from us, just let us know.
And you can let us know on Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok at Triplicates Pod. You can also reach out to us if you would like us to talk about anything in particular, and you can do that via triplicatespod@gmail.com. You can also support us with the monies on patreon.com/triplicatepod. Triplicates Pod?
Triplicates pod.
Yes. I got a little stumbled on the words. It's
Okay.
Anyways, and with that,
Obrigada y ciao.
adios. Oh, gracias y adios.
This is your mother tongue. Kapun ka. Bye.
Bye.